Let's all say it together. Technology makes our lives better. Technology makes everything easier. Hey, Zach, you know what the problem was?
Restart.
Is that a restart? It's the equivalent of hit it. Give it a kick. Anyway, we're back on. Apologies. Poor Jacob Trickler was standing by just waiting for us to solve our problems. So out of respect for his time, we said we'll call him back another time. We'll get the $72 million man, as you refer to on YouTube, back here on the program. And here we're going to talk about all these great stories from the Coyotes, from his draft, from Sarnia, from JRC, and being injured in the OHL Cup, and not having light bulbs in his house. All kinds of wonderful stuff with Jacob Trickler. Actually, you know what I want to talk to Jacob Trickler about? Sleep. Because I think the light bulb thing is related to sleep. One of the books, by the way, that really changed my life. Maybe this will change yours if you ever get around to reading it. I'm talking to you, Zach, by the way. There's a book by a guy by the name of Matthew Walker called Why We Sleep, which after I read it, I was terrified. Like to this day, I'm like terrified not to get minimum 8 hours, like terrified not to have a sleep routine for my health. It's called Why We Sleep by Dr. Matthew Walker. There's a number of lectures of his available online too. I'm guessing that it's either like Huberman Lab or Matthew Walker, and that's one of the reasons why Jacob Trickler is as specific as he is about nighttime rest and recovery. I was looking forward to talking to him about that and other hockey issues. I mean, you can't talk about the Caps without Ovi and other things, and Dylan Strome, an old teammate from the Coyotes, etc. But I was looking forward to that interview. We'll do it another time. Zach, where did we leave off? And thanks for hopping back, everyone that came back to play here on the program. Where did we leave off, and what have we left off so far as we try to cobble together something that resembles a program today?
Yeah. Well, we left off. You were telling a story, which I was kind of in and out on because I was trying to get some audio there.
Which one?
But we had talked about torts.
And
then, and then
did you hear that Jim Pizzatelli story?
Szymanski?
Did I tell? I got the Pizzatelli story and about the choking and the scissors and the tie and all that. I got the Szymanski stuff in. That's for our Oilers friends. He'll be in Bakersfield next year, not this season. There were a number of teams. I was making the point that the team that just signed him to a 4-year deal is owned by the Los Angeles Kings, and that's Berlin. I thought LA was going to get him. Like, I honestly thought that if anyone was going to grab him and bring him over to North America, it was going to be the Los Angeles Kings. But instead, it is indeed the Edmonton Oilers. Someone alert Tyler Yaremchuk immediately. That it looks like the Oilers beat out a number of teams here. I would suspect LA would be one of them to get his services. Anyhow, what else we got for today? What else? Put a quarter in me and I'll start talking.
William Nylander. Let's start there. That'll interest both of us, I think.
I've always liked William Nylander. I always liked him because he was one of those players that I really wanted to work because I thought that the whole discussion around him really didn't make a lot of sense. Young players tend to struggle. Young players, tend to when a guy's 18, he's not the same as he's going to be when he's 25 years old. I'm really glad that the whole you can't win with a guy like Nylander narrative is gone, or Nylander's the weak link, and Nylander has to go. And if you're going to get rid of anybody, it's got to be Nylander. Look, before he signed that official that whopper deal coming out of his entry level, I mean, he was. The discussion, again, I think I've mentioned this here, the discussion was with the St. Louis Blues and the deal was with Alex Pietrangelo. Like, that was going to happen. Nylander wanted to stay. They were like seconds away from missing the deadline. And the Nylander camp, Louis Gross would be the agent there. Michael Nylander, his father, would have had a lot of say on that contract too. And then general manager Kyle Dubas finally getting that together. But here's one of the things that I think Leafs fans should know about. Someone that I don't think they talk about very often, but was kind of there at the beginning of this rebuilding of your Toronto Maple Leafs, Philly, your Toronto Maple Leafs. So the Maple Leafs, before the Philadelphia draft, 2014, had drafted Frederick Gauthier in the
Freddie the Goat.
Freddie the Goat. And listen, I remember watching him play in the Q, and he was like a good player, like a safe pick. Like, let me give you a little peek into a scout's mind here for a second. Scouts take a lot of pride in their guys, their choices, the players they stump for. They encourage their managers to select getting into the NHL. Okay? Like there's a lot of, my guy made it to the NHL. I found this guy, he made it into the NHL. And there are a lot of like safe guys that you can encourage your team to select, just knowing that they're just going to make it to the NHL. And that was the draft where, like the Philadelphia draft, where the Maple Leafs took Nylander, and there's a lot of talk about Nick Ehlers too, who was playing for Halifax at that time. Lawson Krause, I believe, as well, was someone that a lot of people barked about that year for Toronto. But Brendan Shanahan essentially, before the draft, told the scouts, like, look, the only way we're going to improve is not by going to the draft and making safe picks. Like, my guy made it to the NHL. That's a check mark for me. I get a cookie and I get my contract extension. So we're never going to get better that way. We're going to be okay. We're going to be decent. I'm sure you've seen plenty of teams around the NHL that just have really safe drafts and their guys make it into the NHL and the team ultimately goes nowhere. I remember that draft specifically, Shanahan saying to the scouts, we need to swing for the fences. Like, we need home runs. No more just like singles to get on base. Like, we need home run picks. And that was the first one. That was the first one. They were going to swing for the fences. Like, as highly skilled as Nylander was, there were still no guarantees that this, high first round pick was going to hit the way that he has. And now it's 3 40-goal seasons in a row here for William Nylander. It's turned out to be an incredible draft pick. It didn't look good early, too soft. The puck goes in the corner. The season ticket holders have to jump over the glass to throw the puck out. Nylander's not going in. Like, all that stuff, right? We won't need the hot towel after this game. It doesn't know what a bruise is. Like, all the stuff you heard about Nylander, all totally wrong, all totally hogwash. And for the longest time as well, if you looked at, sort of the areas of the ice where he occupied, like, he was one of the only Maple Leafs players who was going to the front of the net and absorbing punishment to try to make plays. Anyhow, I'm just happy that whenever I look at Nylander, one of the things I always think about was that Philadelphia draft when Shanahan said, no more safe picks. No more safe picks. We got to swing for the fences here. It can't just be guys that make it to the NHL. It's got to be guys that have the potential to make a big impact, even if it's going to be a gamble for us. That's what I think about when I see Nylander. You?
Yeah, Nylander has changed. Like, the narrative around him has drastically changed since he's been in Toronto. You talk about those early days. It's not just become, Nylander does these things now. He gets involved in that, but Nylander's the guy who does it, and the other ones need to follow. Nylander's the one who shows up in the playoffs or says the right things in the media or takes the puck to the front of the net, as simple as that may be. Why can't 34, 16, yada, 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 do that as well? Like, he's the one leading the charge. It's kind of amazing to watch. I also, by the way, Jeff, just love how he conducts himself in the media here. Like, I think early on it was like, this guy doesn't care, and now it's like,
he had
this
wars,
guy
man.
is the best. Yeah,
he's great. I'll tell you what, you can do that when you're like snapping in 40. You can have that kind of, but the thing is, he's always like, I'm not telling tales out of school here. Like, him and Sheldon Keefe didn't always mix well, either with the Marlies or with the Maple Leafs. That was a challenging relationship, I think, for both of them. You can behave like that. Like, you'll be accepted a lot more quicker by a lot of people when you're scoring 40 goals and rocking 85 points every year.
Yeah.
It's tougher when you first start, as we've seen before. But, like, honestly, like, the thing about Nylander that I've always liked is I don't think he cares about any of it. Like, he doesn't care what people say. He's hurt. Like, think about, like, just put yourself in his position. A lot of NHLers that have been like this. I'm always impressed with it. And Nylander's a touch point for a lot of this conversation. Think about all the things that he's heard about himself. Think about that for a second. Like, you think that everything that we say in the media or everything that's online, social media, websites, you think that he doesn't read that or isn't aware of it? He just doesn't care. Like,
Yeah.
it's hard not to admire someone who is surrounded by that always and just doesn't care. And it doesn't
That's why he's so
affect
perfect
him.
for the market.
He is perfect for the market. You're right. You know what's funny? Toronto has always been a great market for Swedes. Swedes have really thick skin when it comes to that kind of stuff. They really do. I know this is a stereotype, but is it okay if it's a positive stereotype? Because like Swedes have like really, really thick skin, and they don't mind hearing criticism. Like, I know there've been a couple of examples to the opposite, but by and large, Swedish hockey players, Swedish people in general are so great for this sport because they just show up, they put their skates on, and they do their job. What's the Nylander quote from today that you were telling me from before about scoring 40 goals? What do you say?
Yeah, I can play it if you want.
Yeah, let's watch
I've
it.
got
Let's
it
watch
loaded up here.
Yeah, what do you got?
40 goals is hard to do. Consecutive seasons of 40 goals is hard to do. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, just trying to do what I'm paid to do. That's it.
Tarps off interview, first of all.
Chains out, hats backwards.
Whatever. It's what I'm paid to do. Just score
Yeah.
goals, man. Just what I do.
Everything he does is like that too, right? I mean, remember they went on the 3-game losing streak, and he's like, it's 3 games, who cares? And then they went on a 3-game winning streak immediately after. Who do you think the first guy they asked about it was? Nylander, and he goes, it's just 3 games, who cares?
3 games.
It's like,
It's a great attitude.
3 games. Yeah.
I love him. Okay, anything else here before we get to the games of the night? Young Zacharou.
I want to talk about Craig Anderson, and then I have a picture to show you as well after. But you had some thoughts on Craig Anderson. I was watching coming in hot this morning with him.
Here's what I love. How the family battled through his wife's cancer, and how brave everybody was. And I met her a couple of different times, Nicole, and just a wonderful person, really strong, great family, all of it. One of the things that this is like the tiniest thing. One of the things that I always admired about Craig Anderson, and maybe this is just like, maybe you'll hear this act and you go like, Dad, stop being a dad. But as a dad, you know what I like? He has his kids design the colors on his pads. Did you know that? Kids design.
I did not know that.
It's awesome. I love
That's
stuff.
cool.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting old, soft, sappy. I just love that. Kids design his pads. But he was on Coming In Hot, and what did he say this morning, Zacharou?
He's talking about retirement, and I want to play this clip for you because I think it's pretty funny. He's talking about the moment he knew. It's the moment he knew that it was time to end it. So this is him on Coming In Hot with the boys this morning.
Okay.
When did you make the decision that it was your final season and you knew this game was coming?
When Brady asked if I was going to play another season and I was cramping up in the net.
Fair enough. So
that was like icing on the cake. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm good. I think that was in the second period.
So
In the second period.
So good. No, I'm good. Kelly Rudy makes a great point about retirement. And, we just saw Pat Maroon on Morning Cup of Hockey. And I thought about this when I was watching Laz and Colby interview him. Kelly Rudy brought up a great point with me once, and it's always stuck with me. He said, the moment you think about retirement, you're retired. Mm-hmm. Like the minute that it enters your head, a part of you retires. A part of you checks out. Right? Like when you're young and you're in the NHL, like you don't even, like the word, like you don't even, it's not part of your vocabulary. You're not even thinking about it. Then you get to a point where all of a sudden you start thinking about it. And Kelly's point's an interesting one. When you do, part of you retires at that single moment. Just because now all of a sudden the R word is in your head. When you're like 21, 22, or William Nylander snapping in 40 goals, tarps off. Well, he's not thinking about retirement. Like you're not. But the minute that you think it and you say it, part of you retires. Always remembered that. It's such a good point by Kelly. The R word. I always like Craig Anderson too, and I hope that we remember just how great a goaltender he was. Like when Craig Anderson was on his game, I remember Kevin Woodley from In Goal Magazine telling me all the time about Craig Anderson is that there was for a time there was no one better in the NHL at anticipating where shots were going. He just had this uncanny ability, better than Craig Anderson. There was just no, it was like the goalie skill, right? Like the one that the goalies look at and go like, oh, like casual fans may miss it, or dopes like me would just go like, okay, so he made a save, big deal. It's like, no, look at the lean, look where he was going, look how he knew the stick, and all the. Like, he was like, Craig Anderson was the finest at it. That guy was an awesome goaltender. I loved watching Craig Anderson. That was from this morning's edition of the Coming In Hot podcast. I mentioned St. Louis, by the way, and Rob Thomas continues. Rob Thomas continues to soar. To which my question is, where do we send the invoice?
Yeah. I could use some like teeth like that. I don't think that would be bad on camera, Jeff.
Yeah,
the only thing would be lights on it.
Mm-hmm, yeah,
maybe not so much, but
you know what?
I mean, the sheet bump.
Sheet bump. That's it. Well, listen, there's an old saying. It's an old saying in our industry, Zach. You got to remember this one, okay? I want you to put this in your hip pocket. In hockey, there's no I in team, but there's 2 I's in invoice. Always remember that. There's 2 I's in invoice. So next time we're talking to Robert Thomas, and he's snapping in like 4 points, a goal and 3 assists or whatever it was last night for him. Yeah, 1 + 3. Him and one half of the offer sheet boys, Philip Broberg with 4 points last night as well. Just remember, like, yeah, you got the bump here. You got the bump here first.
Remember where you came from, Rob.
Yeah, remember
where you came from.
YSC, I know. There's no shortage of YSC talk on the program. Okay, let's get to the games of the night. Last night was a busy one around the NHL. Hope you really enjoyed it. Tonight, we've got 4 games, and a couple of things I want to remind you of. The sheet is powered by FanDuel. That is home of the same game parlay. Make every moment more on FanDuel. FanDuel, proud to connect fans to the major sports moments that matter to them. And how many games we have tonight, Zach? We have 4. And the first one should be a banger. It's Vancouver and the New York Islanders. Islanders 1 point out of wild card, which means 1 point away from Johnny Lazarus finally getting ink on that virgin skin of his. Finally, he's going to feel the sear. He's going to feel the burn. It's been a few years for me now. I'm starting to get the itch again. I want to get the burn, but Johnny Lazarus may be first if the Islanders make the playoffs. Or 1 point out of wild card 2. Canucks 5 points out. Ilya Sorokin starts here. This one is going to have a playoff intensity. Vancouver cannot squander anything right now. It's the way St. Louis is playing. There is no way they can take a step back, and the Islanders are right there, and they're still steamed. Even though I still think it's the right call, they're still steamed about the goalie interference call the other night. But
I mean, I didn't really weigh in on it, but I don't.
What'd you think? You wouldn't have called it?
I was more on Laz's side. I just think that there's also like, it was Merzlikins, I think, right? He steps right out onto the very top of that crease. And it's just, I get what you were saying, and, you're in the blue, that's on you. I understand all that. But, like, his ass is in the blue. His feet are outside.
Doesn't matter.
There's
Let me ask you a question.
Let
me ask you a question.
That's got to be amended.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Even though you're a Leafs fan, did you like Carey Price? As a goaltender, did you like Carey? Like, unbelievable. Like, the best of his generation, right?
Yeah.
There was nobody in net better at initiating contact and making it look like goalie interference than Carey Price. He was the king. He was a great goalie. There was no one in his era, in his generation. God, it was like 5 minutes ago too. There was no one in his era that moved to position quicker and more efficiently than Carey Price. He made what would be really difficult saves for most goaltenders look easy because he was that strong and could get to position and set up. And it's just like, well, the puck hit him in the chest. Puck went off his pads. Because he gets there. Like, he was an incredible goaltender. But to me, like, one of the skills that separates him from all the other goaltenders was there was no one better at drawing goalie interference calls than him. Carey Price was the guy. Again, I think that's a skill. I think drawing penalties is a skill. And there was no one better than Carey Price. So to your point about Merzlikins, if I squint, I can see your point. I still think that was goalie interference. Based
My
on how they've
frustration,
called
I
it.
guess, is more that he engaged. I personally feel like Merzlikins engaged the contact, not Palmieri. And if Palmieri was 6 inches lower down, then I would have said, yep, 100%. Like if he was 6 inches closer to the goal line, and I continue to say 100%, and I've got no problem with that. I think he's going out at the top of the crease. Obviously, he knows what he's doing in terms of just getting in front of Merzlikins, but Merzlikins is the one who comes out, and in my opinion, that should just at least be grounds for, like, this was mutual engagement. Palmieri came out to the top of the crease. Merzlikins engaged with him there when he did so. Like the onus is, it's like, Jeff, when we talk about these hits where the player turns his back at the last second. Yes, you can't hit the guy, but there is an onus of responsibility on you to protect yourself there. Like it's like there's an onus of responsibility on the goaltender to not come out and engage with the guy.
But you're saying these are two. But that example is two players. This is a player and a goaltender. The goaltender's responsibility is to stop the puck. Like where this isn't apples and oranges. It's chalk and cheese. Like that's how different these two things are. Listen, we made the point yesterday on the program about if you have more old goalies in the situation room, you're going to get a lot more goals because old goalies will say, "That's soft. That's a goal." Here's another thing: old goalies hate goalies. Everyone that came after them, it's so good. Every time you talk to someone who played in the NHL, hate this guy, hate that guy, hate this guy. It's hilarious. I love it. How did we get on this topic? Oh, yeah. Islanders facing off against Vancouver Canucks at UBS Arena. It is the New Jersey Devils taking on the Chicago Blackhawks. You want to talk about a game that you cannot lose if you're the New Jersey Devils? Like, you're playing Chicago. You're still, like, right in there for the play. You cannot lose this game. Jacob Markstrom gets the start. Lazar, Bastian, and Nemec are in. You cannot lose this game, right, Zach Phillips? If you're Sheldon Keefe in the New Jersey, you cannot lose this game. Not at this point of the season and where you are in the standings, right?
Correct, 100%. You know what I just thought about, by the way? Do you remember the way you said that about Chicago? Do you remember it was Bruce Cassidy in the playoffs with Vegas, and they lost to somebody, and he came out after and he said, "You're not going to beat Arizona in January playing that way. No disrespect to Arizona." It's like, no, dude, you meant disrespect.
So good.
You were saying they're a bad team.
So much for, like, all those years in the American Hockey League humbling you, and right, like, oh yeah, Cassidy's never going to come up and coach in the NHL again, and then boom,
No
Stanley
disrespect
Cup,
to Arizona.
He's one of the best, a big contract. No disrespect to Arizona, but like, come on, like, it's 2 foot. It's a layup here. It's 2 foot putts.
Yeah, it just reminded me of that when you said that. The way you said this, it's playing Chicago. No disrespect to Arizona.
Can't. Okay. Dallas takes on Edmonton. That one could be a banger. You saw the news earlier about Leon Draisaitl is going to be like another week, and Connor McDavid is going to be longer. Oh my god. And the Boston Bruins facing off against the Anaheim Ducks at the Honda Center. Anaheim's fun to watch. Like, I'll just admit it. They're playing better. I still maintain, like, I liked them at the beginning of the year. I like them now. I liked them last year. There's always, like, glimpses of, like, okay, these guys are going to be really good once they all really get on the same page here. I still like watching Anaheim. Sorry, call me a loser. I still like watching Anaheim. Sorry, I say I have the most boring life in the world. Fine. I don't care. I watch a lot of hockey games. I still like watching Anaheim. And I still think Mason McTavish is going to be a star.
I think Anaheim's kind of exciting right now.
Good.
I like this is good stuff to watch. I looked at FanDuel. They're favored against the Bruins tonight.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
I mean, Anaheim's at home and Boston is completely...
If you told me in January, probably January, that they would have been favored against the Bruins here in this game tonight, Jeff, I would have told you you're eating space cakes.
All right, I guess space cake. All right, time to wrap it up then. So those are your games tonight. Vancouver and the Islanders, New Jersey and Chicago. Dallas face off against Edmonton. Boston takes on the Ducks of Anaheim. Listen, like, I don't know what it is. It was mice. It was other rodents. It was gremlins. It was, I don't know, like, what else can we pin this on? For our audio issues today, apologies from this end. Technology, man. These things happen. And apologies to the Washington Capitals and Jacob Chikrin. We'll have to rebook. In the meantime, Zach, any closing words before we... By the way, nice win for your boys last night. John Tavares, holy smokes. Remember when we were all saying like the last few years of this contract are going to be ugly? Nope. I remember when he signed, I remember, like, here's a great line. I remember when Mark Stone signed his deal with Vegas, Doug McLean, I was on the set with him, it was trade deadline, and he said, that is both the best and worst contract in the NHL. It's great right now, and by the end it's going to be ugly. And we said the same thing about the John Tavares deal. It's great right now. This is awesome for the Maple Leafs. By the end, this one's going to be ugly. Guess what? I was wrong. Surprise, surprise. He looks great.
I had the same thought as well. But, like, we went into this season, too. Is this year JT's legs fall off? Is he going to be a winger? Is he a third-line centerman?
No. Hey, you know what?
Well,
Here's one for you. I don't want you to sleep tonight. I want you to have this night. I want you to have this nightmare. Okay? Here's what I want. You know what I was thinking about watching that game last night? A few games to watch.
What?
I was thinking, like, if he doesn't re-sign with the Toronto Maple Leafs, you know where he'd look really good?
I don't want to know where this is.
Montreal.
Florida?
Montreal.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No,
Suzuki
no,
and
no,
Tavares.
no,
up to
no,
get.
no, no, no.
Yeah.
No.
He looked really good in Montreal. Young players. Here's the
Nope.
vet. Can see
Nope.
San Luis just loving him.
No. No.
Just want you to have nightmares tonight, Zach. Just want you to have nightmares.
Jeff, I think your audio's not working anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
I think your audio's not working.
Nah, it's usually just
Hey,
my
by the
brain
way,
all time.
quickly,
Yeah.
we saw it last night. I have a take on this, so just leave this for people to think about and chew on
Okay.
for tomorrow. The Wave, it's not that bad. I think the Wave got the same rap that Nickelback gets, where people liked Nickelback, and they're good, and it's exciting. And then somebody decided one day, you know what? Nickelback stinks. And then everyone was like, it's the cool thing to think Nickelback stinks. I'm not, like, in love with the Wave, but I don't think it's that bad. This is, like, 3 games in a row now here at home for the Leafs. They've got the Wave going.
Yeah.
Give me the Wave. Get people in Scotiabank on their feet, Jeff. I need the energy. I need the excitement. Give me the Wave. I don't think it's that bad.
My issue's
all I gotta
not my issue's not Nickelback, because I think the songs are good, but you know what I hate, and I can't get past this. I can't get past this for everything from Pearl Jam to Barbra Streisand. I can't stand bottom lip singers. I can't do like any bottom lip singer. I can't do it. All my buddies are huge Pearl Jam fans. I can't do it. I can't do bottom lip singers. Bottom lip singers drive me crazy. It doesn't matter like what style of music. You're a bottom lip singer? Sorry, I'm checked out. I can't do it. That's why I can't do it for Nickelback. Wave, I'm at the age now where it's like, do the kids like it? Then it's good. That's all. If the kids like it, fine. You know what? You don't need me to be grumpy about the Wave. Yeah. You like it? Go for it. That's fine. But I am so pissed off about bottom lip singers. And if you're like a singing instructor and that's how you teach people, like, shame on you. Go to Box, feel ashamed. 2 minutes, you're free. Bottom lip singers, not for me. Not for me.
Yeah.
Any
I
band.
just say it's like I don't think it's that bad. I don't think we
All
need
right.
to hate on it. We don't
Okay.
need to get this bad rap for having the Wave. You know,
I love you.
Get people on their feet.
I love you spreading the love. Spreading the love. He's the always optimistic, never cynical. You know, he's a Leaf fan. Never cynical about anything. Never bitter. The one and only Zach Phillips here on the sheet.
No.
Thanks for joining us. We're back tomorrow, 3 o'clock Eastern. Don't forget. There's no morning cup of hockey tomorrow. Boys are off for a couple of days. So join us tomorrow, 3 o'clock Eastern here. We'll try to put together an entire show all at the same time. The bar is so low on this show. The bar is so low. We'll be back tomorrow. If you enjoyed that video, and we certainly hope that you do, please hit the subscribe button right there here at Daily Faceoff. I will put this lineup up against any hockey lineup anywhere. It all gets underway at 9 o'clock Eastern with Morning Cup of Hockey. That is Johnny Lazarus. That is Colby Cohen. Then at noon, it's DFO Live. And then 3 o'clock Eastern, The Sheet. Get caught up on everything in hockey.